Wow. Okay, so what's happening, tech fans? SMT here, Terrence here, Lab here, and it's been one interesting 2025 to say the least. Upload slowed down a little bit, admittedly so. We picked back into it. We got good traction with the bundle saga when we picked up the 12900K from Micro Center, and we did some videos with that and just experimented all together. Long story short, essentially it became my dedicated streaming rig, being that, well, I was having more success with streaming and creating gaming content on the 12900K. But we picked up momentum there, and then, ran into another few road humps along the way, and then I was upgrading the set and then dealing with some things, behind the scenes. But then the overall shape and form of PC gaming slowly kind of evolved over time, and especially here where we are in 2025, with RAM still being incredibly high, over $300 USD in most cases for a DDR5 32GB kit of memory, and even on the DDR4 side. New kits are still selling for over 150, 160 USD, and that's also bled over onto the used market, and now resellers are also selling their RAM with reflected prices that, well, they're just as expensive to get in brick and mortar stores and ordering offline. So they're going to take advantage of that opportunity as well. And then we got the release of the Steam Deck to kind of bounce around. I'm going to be a little bit all over the place here, but for the most part, I had some content planned, but this, in all likelihood, might be our last official recorded VOD of 2025 here on this channel. But then we got the release of the Steam Deck and the announcement of the Steam Deck, Valve's upcoming latest attempt at a miniature couch-like living room PC console-esque, device, if you will, with the Steam Deck. Not the Steam Deck, but with the Steam Machine. And it was released with mixed reviews. I did a video on it, and my biggest concern still remains as the same as it was a few months ago that it is now, and that's Valve hasn't released a price point for either of their two models. And this was before, RAM found itself in the weird place that it is now. So that means that the prices of the Steam Machine could also be higher than what most of us influencers was originally guessing it could possibly be. I still stand with my estimates. I think that the lower end model with just a slightly smaller storage solution is going to come in at about 800 to 900 USD, and the higher end storage solution is going to be a little over 1,000 USD, and that could still even possibly be higher given that RAM has blossomed and bloomed in pricing, and we have a lot of factors to blame that on. The AI boom being one of them, most certainly. And with Micron just announcing that they're dropping out of the memory race to focus on AI and data centers, sure as hell didn't help the situation, not one bit. And that could also bleed over into not only the Steam Machine's pricing, but the upcoming PlayStation 6 and the next generation of Xbox, should Microsoft feel compelled to feel the need to release another console. But they most certainly will, and I think that it's going to be a digital, portable-esque, very heavy console that Microsoft is going to try to enter the foray and truly challenge Nintendo, especially being that the Nintendo Switch 2 currently is also in an awkward spot. But that hasn't necessarily been affected by pricing, more so with the availability and the supply chain of Nintendo Switch 2s. They are out there in the wild, but being that there's not an extensive library of games worth playing to justify the price, it's slowed down in traction a little bit. Well, we could see higher price consoles in 2026, being that AI has not slowed down. It's also bled over here onto the platform here on YouTube. I am not only a creator of content, but I am also heavily a consumer of content as well. And YouTube is my go-to #1 platform when it comes to digital entertainment, especially when it comes from genuine people across the world and on the internet, like myself, and even viewers and members here in our community. So I've noticed the uptick in AI content. As as a creator, I'll say that I'm not totally against the concept of AI. I see how it can be beneficial in the content creation process overall. But just straight videos that are AI altogether and are indistinguishable between real life can be quite challenging for us normal creators to compete with. That doesn't mean that I'm like, oh no, I want it to go away. I think that this is just the direction that Google wants to take their platform, YouTube, in. And for creators like myself, if we want to keep up with that rat race, with the AI race, if you will, here on the platform, we're just going to have to get more genuine with our content. We're going to have to put the human back into the content and keep the human into the content, because sitting down and having a conversation about computers and gaming and technology and what have you, just a normal conversation between myself and the camera and you, the viewer, is difficult to replicate with AI, because I am a human talking to humans, and so you want that human interaction. So you want to be genuine with your content. Going forward here in 2026 with PC gaming and just where we are and where we want to be and where we want to focus on, that is our primary goal and objective with the content here on this channel, is getting back to genuine, long form, hard edits, and just really detailed interwoven stories about hardware and how PC gamers can take advantage of like avenues and just other platforms like the used market, like the Facebook marketplace and OfferUp and other places, purchase and buy used PC hardware. Facebook marketplace being one of my favorite, one of the biggest. We picked up quite a few pieces of hardware to do some videos on, but then I also ran into a hardware malfunction when I was trying to prepare for a video, and so that kind of slowed things down a bit. But we will get back into it in 2026 with telling, stories around this industry, around PC gaming and technology altogether, because it's not slowing down. AI has always been a part of what, say, consoles can do, using console corporate magic is what we called it in previous live streams and other pieces of content, right? Like that corporate console magic. It's always used AI to upscale or insert artificial frames to boost performance with consoles. So it's always kind of been working there in the background. And then we have FSR and NVIDIA's DLSS that's also using AI and machine learning in the background to upscale images and process more frames and what have you. So it's not going anywhere per se. It's just becoming a part of how we take on this form of entertainment, that being playing video games. What will that look like for PC gaming in 2026? Probably not all that different, right? Like, sure, we're going to get new Ryzen SKUs and new upcoming Intel CPUs. NVIDIA has announced that they're kind of slowing down their NVIDIA launch of cards, so that's interesting to see where that's going to go in 2026. But then there's always the used market that we can pillage from and take advantage of, using that used price to performance with secondhand hardware, and also possibly, combining that with new price to performance by getting bundle deals from your Micro Centers and your Best Buys and what have you. But yeah, overall with AI and how it's affecting the platform, how it's affecting YouTube, again, I think the key to our success as creators is just being authentic. It's just being genuine, having that human-to-human relationship with your audience and with your viewers. Originally, this channel has always been built upon storytelling and trying to make that connection with the viewer, revolving around PC hardware, miniature series like our PC part hunts. Again, I picked up a few graphics cards, some other items, an AIO, and some other things, some other deals that also fell through that I was really pushing for, and it was items that I really needed here in the studio because inventory was a little low. But going into 2026, we want to get back to telling stories around said hardware, right? Around said components, sharing tips and different strategies that buyers and sellers could also maximize to leverage their hardware and components that's just sitting around collecting dust, not doing anything, and somewhere across the world, or maybe in your local municipality, maybe somewhere somebody can use that secondhand price to performance that you've already, exasperated, you already used up. Maybe you've upgraded to a 50 series graphics card, even a 40 series graphics card, and that old Pascal, spinner you've been using, or that 20 series graphics card, early 20 series graphics card, no longer has a use for you. Adding a dedicated GPU to one system can really do wonders for one's gaming experience. If you're looking at the Steam's machine stats, Steam's stats over on the Steam hardware stats. If you're looking at the Steam hardware stats, then you'll see that still the most typical resolution is 1920 by 1080p. And being that that's achievable for even a modest budget, that seems to be the meta going forward in 2026. I would love to introduce higher resolutions like 2560 by 1440p, or the idea that the RTX 3060 12GB is essentially the dedicated 1080p spinner for most gamers on a budget, but still wants to play a blend of competitive yet story-driven games like Hogwarts Legacy or Dying Light the Beast. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Intergrade Remake or Remake Intergrade over on the gaming channel. It's over on the PlayStation, but still it's coming over to PC. So even if you wanted to play games like that, you very much could line yourself up with a decent graphics card here on the secondhand market, and even possibly the new market, being that lower tier cards will always be in a higher demand than your higher tier cards. There's always a stronger market for the affordable solutions than the higher end solutions. But with so much more stories to tell in 2026, we will be gearing up and kicking off with some of the rarities that I found over on the used market. They're just right behind me out of frame. You can't see them. You all know me. I love to try to keep it a spectacle and a surprise as much as possible, but they're all behind me. We have some hardware that we can test, some different games that I would love to, to get in and test at different resolutions and different graphic settings, and share tips with, again, sellers and buyers to help you also capture some of these same deals or make the same deals. And you can use that money to upgrade your own system, right? So that's all I got for this one, y'all. More content down in the description box below to help you, catch up with some of the 2025 happenings here that went on the channel. If you're new to the community, hopefully I've earned your subscription through said content, and you'll consider subscribing with the notification bell turned on to receive all future notifications with all the content we post here on the channel. And last but not least, definitely hit the like button for me for this 2025 update video. But that's all I got for this one, y'all. I do hope to catch you on the next one. So until then, be easy.